inside world's toughest prisons, Challapalca Prison, Peru. Have you ever wondered what it's like to live in one of the world's toughest prisons? In Peru, the conditions are harsh and overcrowding is a significant problem. With prisons meant to house 31,000 inmates but currently holding over 67,000, every aspect of life behind bars is overburdened, leading to violence and unrest. In this video, we'll take a closer look at Challapalca Prison, one of Peru's most notorious facilities, to give you an inside glimpse of what life is really like behind bars in this South American country. Stick around until the end to learn about potential solutions to this ongoing issue. The prisons in Peru are harsh environments filled with politics, trade, and violence. Living inside these overpopulated facilities is extremely challenging, and only those accustomed to a brutal lifestyle can survive. The Sarita Colonia prison, considered the most crowded prison globally, offers no personal cells, with up to 15 inmates forced to occupy a cell meant for 4. Those who can't secure a cell must sleep on mats in the hallways, and everything comes with a price tag. To obtain some privacy, inmates must pay high fees ranging from $1,400 for a bed in a cell to a staggering $5,000 for a cell. Even though only 31,000 prisoners are meant to be housed in 68 prisons nationwide, there are currently 67,891 inmates, leading to severe overcrowding. The prison administration's ability to meet the basic needs of detainees, including housing, food, water, cleanliness, and medical care, family visits, and legal aid, is severely impacted by this overpopulation. Consequently, every aspect of these prisons and their services are overburdened, exacerbating the already difficult conditions. The result is a significant risk of violence and unrest among prisoners. Peruvian prisoners don't offer 5-star gourmet meals, but the reality is much worse. The only food provided by the prisons is white rice and potatoes every day, and even that's in short supply. Due to overcapacity, the food never reaches everyone, so unless you're first in line during mealtime, it's more likely that you'll have to fight for the remaining scraps. On the other hand, if you have any cash on you, you can buy some food that's not terrible. Using the food boxes they receive from the outside, several inmates have taken to cooking and preparing meals that they then sell to other inmates for 5 sols or €1.50. Furthermore, if you have the financial resources necessary, you may simply acquire anything, including mobile phones, cigarettes, and narcotics. Keep in mind that the majority of these inmates are serving lengthy sentences for drug trafficking and have been sentenced to at least 8 years in prison or more. Many of them continue to use prohibited narcotics while they are incarcerated, but the guards typically turn a blind eye to their behavior. Prisoners get little to no amusement, which leads to widespread dishonesty because they are more likely to let things slip. Despite the seeming simplicity of the concept of imposing consequences on those who transgress the rules, there are situations in which this strategy can become quite complicated. Some people, such as detainees in Peru, believe that the harsh treatment they get is not warranted. Take, for example, the tale of a convict who was apprehended with 25 ounces of cocaine in his possession just as he was ready to leave the country. Because he disobeyed the law and was caught, the punishment that he received appears to be appropriate on the surface. Having said that, the circumstance is not as plain and dried as it first appears. When it comes to the administration of justice in Peru, things are not always what they appear to be. The prisoner claims that the guards beat him brutally, even though he did not put up any resistance or attempt to exit the facility. After that, the police, who were anxious to obtain a confession from him, assaulted and tortured him for 2 weeks in an attempt to get him to talk. After some time, he gave in and wrote a confession in which he admitted that he owned 664 grams of cocaine at the time of his arrest. In truth, he owned 740 grams, but the additional amount that was inhaled by the Peruvian agents and whatever amount that they retained for themselves was cleverly omitted from the report. In total, he was found with 740 grams. After that, the authorities made him a public spectacle to announce to the media that they had broken up a significant narcotics ring. After his arrest, it was reported in the press that he was found in possession of 20 kilograms of cocaine, a figure that was more than 20 times the actual amount. As a result, the prisoner discovered that he was up against a system that was stacked against him. Although it could look like the authorities in Peru are performing their jobs, the truth is that the circumstance is more complicated than it initially appears to be. Their objective is to provide the impression that they are carrying out their responsibilities, but the truth is that they are making money off of the daily bribes that the inmates pay in exchange for essentials that should have been provided by the correctional facility itself. The concept of imposing consequences on those who disobey the rules may appear to be basic. Nonetheless, there are situations in which the circumstance is significantly more complicated. The case of the impoverished Peruvian demonstrates how unfair the legal system can be, especially when the authorities are more concerned with protecting their interest than doing what is right. It is essential to take a careful look at these situations to guarantee that justice is done and that the rights of individuals are preserved. The conditions that inmates are forced to endure in Peru's prisons are genuinely appalling. People can be put in these terrifying institutions even if they have not been found guilty of any crime. It may take more than a year for a trial date to be assigned to a prisoner in Peru because the country's court system is so backlogged. During this period, the prisoner will remain incarcerated. Unbelievably, 59% of those who are incarcerated in Peru have never been assigned a date for their trial. It is a startling statistic, and it means that many innocent individuals are locked in these dreadful conditions with little possibility of escape. This is a situation that needs to be addressed immediately. The majority of inmates who are being kept while facing accusations spend at least 9 months in pretrial detention, according to a report that was compiled by a human rights organization in Peru. This can carry on for a very long time, sometimes even up to a year and a half. However, there is a straightforward method available to secure a court date, and that method is to pay bribes. A poor individual would never be able to afford the $1,000 that is required to get a hearing, as stated by one American prisoner who wrote about his experiences in his memoirs. What can be done to assist these individuals who are incarcerated? Surprisingly, the convicts themselves have taken the initiative to take the initial step in the process. Former inmates have provided details about a functioning economic system that is developed within these prisons. Inmates who are skilled in certain areas may sell their services to their fellow detainees for a charge. These services may include the provision of food, contraband, or other commodities. Some inmates even provide their services to others beyond the confines of the institution. The conditions in Peru's correctional facilities are deplorable, but the doggedness and inventiveness of the inmates offer a glimpse of hope for a better future. Someone needs to take action to guarantee that people are not held in such deplorable conditions for extended periods without being brought to trial. Corruption must be eradicated from Peru's judicial system, and the system itself needs to be changed. The innocent people who are being held in these jails have a right to justice and should be allowed to live their lives. Because most of the convicts are already living below the poverty line, their ability to spend money is restricted. However, some of the more skilled convicts who have skills such as rug making can sell their items outside the jail by bribing the guards. This is how they make money. This enables the offenders to earn additional revenue, which is something that can be extremely valuable within the context of the prison environment. The effort that the Peruvian government has undertaken to improve the jail system of the country are commendable and should be recognized. In the year 2012, President Ollanta Humala announced that $13.5 million will be allocated to improve jail conditions in the areas of healthcare, nutrition, and other amenities. Although this was a constructive move, it is not nearly enough to address the scope of the issue. Because the problem of overpopulation continues to exist, the nation must take more decisive actions to comply with international norms. Therefore, Peru needs to make a significant amount of additional effort to address the issue. One possible solution will be to reduce the number of individuals who are sent to jail for minor offenses, which would help to alleviate some of the overcrowding. Furthermore, the government should also increase funding for the court system to expedite the hearing process and reduce the number of individuals who are being held in pre-trial detention for extended periods. Finally, corruption must be eradicated from the judicial system, and the authorities should be held accountable for their actions. Thanks for sticking around as we delved into the reality of life inside Peru's toughest prisons. The overcrowding, lack of basic necessities, and corruption within the system create an environment that's hard to fathom for those of us on the outside. We hope this video shed light on the issues and challenges faced by the inmates in Peru and sparked conversations about potential solutions. If you found this video informative, please give it a thumbs up, share it with others, and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. Until next time, stay curious and informed, and thank you for watching.